Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
In the mood to go back to the 90s. Give me something, I don't know, maybe some 90s reality TV related crime. That would be lovely.
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John here with Jamie, taking me back to the 90s. I love it.
I've been watching some documentaries from the 90s and it's just taking me back to that whole era of MTV and what reality TV was then as opposed to now. And yeah, it's
Is that documentary
nostalgic.
called The Goldbergs?
No.
I feel like that was a appropriate portrayal of what life was like back then.
I mean, knowing me, you won't be surprised that it's called Mr. McMahon, the story of Vince McMahon and the growth of wrestling and the downfall essentially of him as he was accused of a bunch of awful things in the middle of the making of it.
Wow. All right.
So anyway, that kind of brought me back to this era. So that's where I'm at. But this case takes us back there for sure.
So today we're going to talk about a case that shocked the nation and really sparked debates about the ethics of talk shows. My goodness, talk shows were something back in the day.
I mean, you got Maury Povich. Oprah was kind of a talk show. Rosie O'Donnell had a thing. Jerry Springer was the one that kind of took everything over the top, right? Which was crazy because he was the mayor of Cincinnati. And then he has this talk show where people fight the entire time.
So during a talk show, someone revealed a deadly secret on national television. Why don't you tell us about that person?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Scott Amedure, who is a young man from Fenton, Missouri, and he agreed to go on the Jenny Jones show. I remember the Jenny Jones show. Wasn't one of my, it wasn't in my rotation. Let's just say that. And we didn't live in an era of TikTok, so you're not getting these clips constantly. So if you missed this, you missed it. There was an episode about secret crushes. And Scott, who was unaware of the identity of his secret admirer, was excited to go on TV and to reveal who he was in love with.
However, when the curtains were finally pulled back, he revealed that he had a crush on Jonathan Schmitz. This was a man he barely knew, and Jonathan's reaction was one of shock and visible discomfort, and the audience erupted in laughter and cheers. And this turned the heartwarming moment into a humiliating public spectacle.
Again, mid-90s here, homosexuality was certainly not as accepted as it is today. So this was a very unexpected thing to happen, especially out in front of everybody. Just days after this episode was taped, Scott was found murdered in his apartment. Jonathan was quickly identified as the suspect, and they found that Jonathan had really struggled with his sexuality. And when Scott came forward on the show, he felt threatened and almost attacked by it. So he was in a place where this was the worst time possible for something like this to happen to him. He had been embarrassed on national television, and he lashed out in violence.
The trial that would follow became a media sensation. The defense argued that the show's producers shared some of the blame for putting Scott at risk. They highlighted the show's focus on sensationalizing emotions and creating conflict for the value just of entertainment. So I don't know. I don't know that I could say they're responsible, but they were the middleman maybe.
And we don't know what people were told coming on to the show. I mean, you're coming on here to see who your crush is or who has a crush on you and, or who your crush is and how they respond to you. Like there's some risk inherently in that, I think. As a result of the trial, Jonathan was found guilty of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. However, in 2017, after serving just 22 years of that sentence, he was released on parole.
Scott's story serves as a reminder of the lasting consequences of decisions that are made for entertainment purposes. And I mean, yeah, we give you guys details of cases for, I guess entertainment quality or entertainment value, but I don't know. This show, I don't think they bear the full weight of this story. I think they were just kind of the means to an end, but Yeah, I don't know.
I think what this story does is it just brings out that conversation, right? Of what responsibility do people who put you in the limelight hold? Is it all on you for going on this show? Because everybody had to agree to show up.
I was going to say,
they weren't forced to be there.
Everybody had to agree to be taped. And I wonder how much each party knew.
Right.
You know, I don't know. It's interesting.
Maybe been that Jonathan was just contacted. Hey, somebody has a crush on you and wants you to show up on this show to reveal it to you. No matter who it was going to be revealing that to me, I would be hesitant to go on the air because that's going to be uncomfortable if it's not someone desirable, regardless of their sex.
Yeah. But maybe they were promised some money for appearing, which is probably the case. But
so does that put more, if they paid them to be there, does that put more onus on the show for paying them to be there?
no, I think it still comes down to, yes, this may have been embarrassing for you personally, but that doesn't give you the right to kill anybody. I mean, maybe sue the show or sue somebody, or just, you know, you got your money, you made the decision to go on the show, now you have to live with it.
Yeah, learn from your mistakes. And this was really an era where we saw a lot of lawsuits happen, people suing because they spilled coffee on themselves. Look, it's a lot. Really, the 90s is why we have warning labels now. There were some then, but not nearly as many. So this was a show I wasn't familiar with, and a story, honestly, that kept popping up on my social media. There weren't really enough details for a full show, so I wanted to bring it here, and this has been another crime story in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.